Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I will be doing what if Naruto was like Gaara, and without further ado, let's get right into the video.
You are watching Shinobi LX.
Alrighty, so here's how we're gonna start this off. So with Naruto, um everything kinda goes to canon, his birth and everything, how his parents still die. But the seal that was placed on Naruto is a lot weaker than the one in canon. So the Nine Tails can keep in constant contact with Naruto, kind of like how he can in Boruto and toward the end of Shippuden. So basically, let's say Naruto had a foster house. This is like around the same time as the Uchiha massacre. So for the longest time, Naruto was kind of timid. So around the same time of the Uchiha massacre, the Nine Tails finally said something to Naruto, but Naruto was he was sleeping, so he woke up crying. And when his foster parents came in there, which they were Jonin and they did know his circumstances, they also did not like Naruto. They were putting on a facade. So Naruto basically after waking up and crying, his parents they ran in the room and asked him what was going on, and he said that he saw a giant red fox in his dream. And the Jonin looked at him and then was like, "It's okay," basically ushering him to go back to sleep. And instead of going back to sleep, Naruto stayed up because he couldn't go back to sleep, because not only was the fox in his dream, but it was also in talking to him while he was up talking to them. And what he was saying was that they didn't want you. They were tasked with you. You're just a mission for them. They get paid for taking care of you, right? So Naruto starts talking back to the Nine Tails and telling him this clearly that's not true. They love me. They're my family. They're my parents. And the Nine Tails tells Naruto, well, since they're your parents, why don't you go see what they're talking about? And Naruto gets out of bed and he walks out the door. Well, he cracks open his door to hear them talking about how are they gonna explain this to Hiruzen. Their mission was to make sure that the Nine Tails didn't come in contact with Naruto at all because the seal was so weak. And Naruto hearing this is clearly shocked, and what's going through his mind is I was being lied to this entire time. These people don't care about me. They never did. And as he's listening to them talk, one of them says, "Well, it's about time we could move on. Like maybe he would actually be able to maybe they would take the Nine Tails out of him and seal it away in someone else, or which would ultimately kill him, but it would be the better option rather than rather let an emotional brat carry the Nine Tails." And Naruto's just he's just standing there. So when they see him, they turn around and they see Naruto. Now in this, what if Naruto was born with a very high aptitude for wind release, and I mean a high aptitude for wind release. Um, um, a high. This man's wind release is god tier. Anyway, so like they try to walk up to Naruto, but after they spot him and see that he's there, Naruto's just he's crying and he's asking them why, and the Nine Tails is like it's because they were tasked. They were they didn't want you. They were being paid a handsome amount of money to pretend like they loved you, to pretend like they cared for you. They never did. They never will. And as they try and get closer to Naruto, the like Naruto basically tells him like as they get like they get like within arm's length of Naruto, and Naruto yells like get away, and a huge like gust of wind knocks them back, ultimately killing them instantly. So like it also basically blows up the house that they were into. So the Nagato's basically telling Naruto like they might not care for you, but I do. That's all you need. That's all you need is us, is me. I can give you power. I can make you feel safe. All you have to do is believe in me. And for the record, the Nine Tails is what the hell? Okay, clearly not. The fuck? The Nine Tails is basically like he's not looking to get out of Naruto. He's looking to make Naruto basically like an because he knows if he just gets out, like if he leaves Naruto's body, someone else is just gonna try to go and steal him away. So he's basically trying to make it seem like he's basically wants Naruto to carry out his own will. And since Naruto was already a very emotional kid and was never really liked in the village anyway, the Nine Tails saw a perfect opportunity. So, like, come the morning, a whole bunch of Jonin and shit, like, they were all over the place. Like, everybody, well, the Jonin were there immediately after it happened, but since, like, no one else was around, like, it was like Naruto was there. Like, that was, like, they were on the scene, but they didn't, they couldn't find Naruto because Naruto was basically, he was buried underneath rubble. So, fast forward. Well, I'm gonna say this is before the Uchiha Massacre because we're gonna need to build Naruto up a little bit. So after the like not Uchiha Massacre, fuck. After the after Naruto killed his adopted parents, after finding out that they didn't care for him at all, he basically he basically told Hiruzen that he'll live on his own. And Hiruzen, like, feeling that the Nine Tails chakra is like the Nine Tails is like the seal on the Naruto is weaker than what it was than what it was just a couple of minutes, like just a couple hours ago, right before his parents had ultimately died by his hands. And Hiruzen, just trying to play it off, was like, Naruto, I'm so sorry, like your parents, they were good people. And Naruto looks at him, and the Nine Tails was in his ear talking about, tell him how you really feel, Naruto. Tell him. Tell him that he's wrong. Tell him that those weren't your parents. Those are just people that you assigned to me. Tell him. And Naruto basically, he turns to Hiruzen and he's like, I'm fine. And he walks out the room. And on his, like, Hiruzen gave him an apartment. Basically the apartment that he had in Canon. But, like, Naruto at this point, like, he's just because he wants to listen to the Nine Tails, but at the same time, he doesn't want to hurt anybody. So he's just going through like what the hell to do at this point. So as he's walking to the place, he sees these kids picking on, well, Hinata. And the Nine Tails is like, that's what you're going to be faced with all the time, Naruto. Come on, let's just go to our apartment. Let's just go home. She can deal with it herself. She's clearly capable. She's a Hyuga. And Naruto like Naruto doesn't even bother to go over there, and but he doesn't bother to go over there, but he does help her. He uses a wind bullet basically to push them away, like to knock them out, almost killing them basically. And when Hinata looks around, the only other person around was Naruto, so she ultimately believes that Naruto was the person who helped her, so she is grateful. So, um, a couple of I'm gonna say like a couple of days pass, and no one has seen or heard from Naruto. Come to find out, him and the Nine Tails were inside of his house. Um, well, Naruto was inside of his house talking to the Nine Tails, and the Nine Tails is like, "I can protect you. Like, you don't have to worry about anything as long as I'm here." And Naruto is basically the Nine Tails is basically spoon feeding Naruto what Naruto wants to hear. So after those 2 days, Naruto's wind release finally starts like activating, and his wind release barrier is kind of like how Gaara's sand is. It's like a thin layer of wind between him and anything trying to get to him. So Naruto is like walking around the village. After those 2 days, he's walking around the village, and no one really like everyone's like kind of weirded out because Naruto, he isn't like how happy-go-lucky he was before his parents died, and now he's just like this. So like they were so used to like trying to berate him for being so happy after what the Nine Tails did when Naruto had left his house and wasn't happy. Shit, my fault. When Naruto had left his house and wasn't so happy, they were all surprised and shocked. Like, this is not the Naruto that we knew. So, some ninja not really caring for it, basically, like, walk up to Naruto and begin to try to, like, bully him. And begin to, like, trying to bully him. My bad, video cut out. Yeah, whatever. Um, so when they get over there, like, when they walk up to Naruto, one of them try to push Naruto, but their hand is immediately blocked, and it's a little cut up because like his that wind is it. The wind moves its like stupid dumb fast to deflect almost any and every attack. So like his finger is like a little cut up, and he's like, "What the hell? Like, what did you do?" And Naruto's like just asking him to move. That's all he wants is for them to get out of his way. And they were like, clearly you don't understand what like clearly you don't get what's going on here. We were walking here first, so you clearly you need to move. And one of the Jonin was like, hey yo, he doesn't look like he's like doing okay. And they were like, who cares? He's just here. And Naruto's like, get out of my way. And he he like kind of like he tries to walk past them, but they get back in front of him. And Naruto like they basically talk about like trying to cut him, like trying to hurt him. So before like they can pull out a kunai or anything, Naruto just kills them. Like he kills one of them. Like the one that pulls out a kunai, he he uses a wind bullet and puts it like right through his stomach. And like the other two try to run away, but Naruto uses like kind of like a chakra scalpel, but elongated. He uses like a very high pressure and fast moving wind to like cut completely through one of them. Then he breaks the other one's legs because why not? And he walks away. So now Naruto is like known in the village as like the embodiment of the Nine Tails. And Hiruzen tries to talk to Naruto, but every time Hiruzen talks to Naruto, he just seems to make it worse. So now let's go to the school. So when everyone gets inside the school, everyone has already heard about Naruto's reputation about how he killed two Jonin and then badly injured one of them to the point where he can't be a Jonin anymore. So like everyone knows what Naruto is capable of, basically, and that was Naruto not even trying at this point. So Naruto does train. He trains a lot actually. The Nine Tails tells Naruto that he needs to constantly train and never stop training because it's all he needs is him and he wants Naruto to train. So that's what Naruto's gonna do. So Naruto trains a lot. So when he gets in Naruto was one of the first so um okay. So Naruto after like that okay, everyone gets inside the school. Naruto is the second to last person to get inside the like no Naruto yeah Naruto's like the second to last person to get in the classroom. And when he gets in there, it goes from like quiet and talkative to like everyone's just quiet and whispering like that's it. And then Naruto's is in Naruto's head talking about see they're talking about you behind your back. They're not your friends, not even your allies. They're just people that don't even belong in the same room as you. They're peasants amongst you. And oh wait, before I do that, never mind. So then like Naruto goes back and he sits in the back of the classroom. And the Nine Tails is like, babe, this is just gonna be a like an intro to what you guys are gonna be doing. So this day doesn't even really matter. What matters is that you need at least one person that you can trust besides me. Because I'm in you. You can't use me for everything. And then Sasuke walks in and everyone gets like really like they start getting jumpy again. And when Sasuke goes in the classroom, he immediately stares up at Naruto. Basically, game recognizes game. Basically, that's what's happening here. So Naruto basically like after Sasuke stares up at him, the Naruto is like, ah yes, an Uchiha. He could be of use. Why don't you become friends with him? And Naruto's like, there's no need. I don't need anyone else. After all, he could just be another assigned person. I'll kill any of them. I'll kill them all. And the Nine Tails is like, that's the spirit. That's all you need. It's power and me. And Hinata, because I'm gonna say Sasuke wanted to sit where Hinata was sitting, and Hinata wanted to move anyway, so she got up and she moved to the back of the class where Naruto was, and she sits next to Naruto, and Naruto doesn't even bother to look over at her, and Hinata's kind of just sitting, like just sitting there, and everyone's kind of just staring at her, like, is she okay? Does she need help? Does anyone want to like go get someone to help her? So like when the bell rings and everyone's getting let out of class, that was the whole class period, by the way. Like everybody was just staring at her like, does she need help or anything? So like after the bell rings, Naruto gets up, and I'm gonna say Kiba gets in front of him and tries to talk, like basically tries to talk to Naruto, and Naruto uses like a wind wall, basically to just throw him up against the wall and just keep walking. And Sasuke, like seeing this, like he's clearly strong, and Kiba like is just completely out of it. Like he's hurt, not hurt badly, but hurt enough to the point where he probably won't get in front of Naruto again. So Hinata walks out the classroom to like basically Hinata's whole thing is that she wants to talk. She wants to find out if it was Naruto that actually helped her on that day. So she's slowly but surely following Naruto. And the Nine Tails tells Naruto about this, and Naruto's like, I know. And he hits a corner, and Hinata hits the corner to see where he was, and she gets tapped on the back, And when she turns around, Naruto's like, "Why are you following me?" And she like her face. She pulls a Hinata, the whole like little red thing and everything like that. Yeah. So she she finally like after like 3 minutes, she finally gets she finally gets enough courage to ask him was he the one that helped her that day when those three guys were messing with her? And and Naruto's tell him that's the girl that you helped that one day, completely disregarding my like my advice. And Naruto's like, yeah. And she thanks Naruto, and Naruto's like, whatever, and he walks away. And Hinato's like, it's not nice to be mean to your friends. And then she walks away, and Naruto's like, I have a friend. Comedy. And he keeps walking. The Naruto's are basically like, you can't trust friends. You never will. Same way you can trust your parents. And Naruto basically tells him like he's telling him to shut up. It's like now he doesn't want to hear it. And Naruto, like when he gets inside of his house, Naruto sees a letter on his bed. And when he sees the letter, he opens it, and it's from Hiruzen basically telling Naruto that he needs to calm down, and if he needs to talk, he's there. And Naruto like crumbles it up and was like, "Who really cares? Like you assign people to me. You couldn't find anyone that actually wanted to be there for me as my family, so you had to assign Ninja to me." And the Nine Tails is like you should go and tell him these things. You can't just sit here and bottle these emotions up. And Naruto opens the door and he starts headed toward the Hokage's office. And on his way to the Hokage's office, he sees Sasuke being praised by the Leaf Village. And then like when Naruto gets over there and he sees this, like Naruto gets even more upset because Sasuke hasn't done anything. He's just an Uchiha. I survived the Nine Tails attack. My parents just died not too long ago. They still see me as a monster. Maybe I am one. And like as he's walking through the street, Sasuke walks over there to him. I was like, "Where are you going?" And Naruto doesn't even bother to respond. And Sasuke goes to put his hand on Naruto's shoulder, basically ushering him to stop. And when he touches Naruto, it's like his hand gets basically like kind of like cut up because the wind's moving so fast around Naruto. And like as like Sasuke looks at his hand, Naruto tells Sasuke to stay out of his way. And Naruto gets to the Hokage's office, and right before he opens the door, he hears someone inside of the Hokage's office. And this is where I'm gonna end this part off. I hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all did, drop a like. If y'all enjoy my content, please subscribe. Anyway, this has been Shinobi, and I'm out of here.